Alright guys, so let's get started here. So we're going to be going over the top 5 mobile cooling methods, which is going to basically improve your performance. This video is probably going to be mostly viewed by gamers, so I'm going to use the term how to improve your gaming experience. This is going to be for phones and tablets. As you guys can see the picture, I have a picture of a Samsung phone and an iPad. Those are just some of the examples, but let's get into number 5, guys. Alright, so for number 5, this is going to be the most simple one. We're going to start off simple, and then we're going to go to more complicated. So like number 1 is going to be the most complicated. But we're just going to start off with like the most basic rudimentary step method of all, which is just take off the case. The reason I say this is because a case, as you guys can see there, case equals insulator. The case is an insulator for heat. So if you have a phone case on, it's going to trap the heat within your phone. So if your phone is already overheating from like hardcore gaming, the case is not going to improve it at all. It's going to make it worse, trapping the heat. And then as you guys can see next, it says rubber is a great insulator, which is very true. Like if you have a rubber case, that is like one of the worst ones. I'm sure there are worse, but rubber is pretty common for a phone case, and it is just nasty. It traps the heat really good, which is going to make your phone even hotter, and it'll be even faster. It'll heat up even faster than a phone without a case. So basically all I'm saying here, overall, the case will just trap the heat inside, and it's not good. So if you guys are trying to do some hardcore gaming for maybe a long period of time, just take off your case. If it's a really thin case and maybe it's not rubber, maybe it'll be okay, especially if you're not going to be playing for that long. But the moral here is just take off your phone case. Alright, moving on to number 4 here, guys. This is also a pretty simple one. A lot of people know about this. That's why I have it as only number 4. Now, this is just simply cool off in the fridge. It sounds weird. I know. I thought it was really weird when I first found out about this trick, but I've actually used it before. 20 minutes to an hour is usually ideal. If you put it in for longer than that, it might actually damage your phone, so I would not recommend it. But, I mean, it's pretty simple. You're just putting your phone in the fridge. You're cooling it off. As you guys can see, second, it says take off case for faster cool. I mean, that's pretty basic knowledge. If your case is on, it's just gonna, as you guys heard earlier from the previous method, number 5, the case is just gonna basically trap heat. So if your phone is already hot, it's just gonna be hot inside of its case. So you're gonna want to take the case off if you want the fridge to try to cool up the phone a little bit faster. And then obviously do not put it in the freezer. I say do not in all caps, but you know what? It's really okay if you put it in the freezer, but just do not forget about it. If you forget your phone like overnight in the freezer, to be honest, I don't know. I've never done it, but from what I can imagine, that could really damage the internal hardware inside of your phone, depending on the degrees of freezers. Most freezers are all the same, though, but, I mean, some people might have it a little bit turned up, so it's a little bit colder than normal, and that could be actually dangerous. So I just wanted to get that out there. I wouldn't recommend putting it in the freezer unless you're only going to put it in for a bit. Some people are thinking, freezer, oh, I'm just going to make my phone even colder, right, faster. But yes, that is the case. However, I just don't want you to forget it. Okay, so moving on to number 3, guys. We got rest on an ice pack. Now, this is actually pretty easy to do, pretty simple. Now let's just go over the first one here. So before we even get into this, it really only works while your device is flat, unless you want to hold your ice pack upright. If you're playing at an angle, you're gaming at an angle. I would not recommend holding an ice pack because that really hurts your hands, especially if you do it longer than like 10 seconds. And if you're gaming, you're probably going to be playing for at least a period longer than 20 minutes. So I would recommend just playing flat. If you want to put maybe a cover over your ice pack just so you don't have to touch it or whatever, just, that's fine. But it does work faster without the case, obviously, like we mentioned in the refrigerator one from method number 4. If you don't have a case and your phone's already hot, your case is just going to make it, it's going to make it cool down even slower. So just take off the case. It'll make everything quicker. And then this is also the most efficient method. It is the most efficient if you already have an ice pack ready. It's going to take, obviously, a little bit of time if your ice pack needs to be cooled down a little bit. But if your ice pack is good to go, just slap your phone on it. It'll cool really fast. You'd be surprised, especially if your phone is metal. Like if you have like an iPhone 5C where like it has like plastic back, it might not be as fast. But if you have like a newer phone, maybe not super new, obviously, because then you wouldn't be watching this video and you might not be lagging at all. But if you have a newer phone and it's made out of metal, that's gonna cool super fast with an ice pack. All right, moving on to number 2. Oh, sorry, no, I forgot we have an alternative. We have the ice pack alternative. This is just kind of like a Ziploc bag with ice and water. It's just for people that don't have ice packs. I know there's actually a lot of people out there without ice packs. It's just a paper towel on top, if you guys are wondering in that image. The reason I put that there is just in case the bag pops, as you guys can see in number 2. If you have a phone that's very, sensitive to water, it's not waterproof, it's not water resistant, it's not any of that, yeah, I would definitely put maybe a thin something. You don't have to put a paper towel, that's just an example, but just something, so just in case if the bag does pop, your phone, you have a little bit of time to take your phone off and your towel can soak up some of that water. But I mean, if you don't want to put any protector, that's on you. If your phone breaks down because water gets inside, that's not my fault. I just recommend you put something on top of the ice just in case. And it's not like the towel is gonna take away any of the coldness from the bag either. Anyways, I just put works just the same because it really does. It's the same thing as an ice pack. The icy water is actually pretty cold as well. Play on top of a mini fan. Yup. Pretty simple, pretty self-explanatory. I'm not going to go over this one too much, but basically just point the fan at the device. If you didn't know how to do that, then you need some help. Just point your fan at your device. Pretty simple, super easy to set up. I mean, unless you don't have a mini fan, then I guess you could use something else, one of the other methods, but this is for people with the mini fans. It's very, very easy to set up. The only issue with this, the only downfall, is if you're like, yo, noise really annoys me. If you don't like noise, this is not going to work for you because the noise from mini fans, especially if you have it on a high setting, even on a low setting, it's pretty annoying, especially if you're trying to hear your game sound, but you have a giant, I shouldn't say giant because it's a mini fan. If you have a mini fan noise in the background, it's going to be annoying. That noise could be really annoying. So moving on to number 1, this one's going to take me a while to explain, but this is by far the most complicated. Boom, install a micro fan. Now, I actually did this myself. This is what I'm using, and that is my phone case, by the way. Just letting you know. So, I'm going to go over this one for probably the rest of the video. This is going to be quite difficult. I'm going to go over the steps, and then I'm going to go in detail for 2 of the steps because they're going to be difficult. So, I've put hardest method, yet the best. I think this is one of the best ones. It's also very, very, very efficient. So, okay, moving on. Step 1. So you must locate the CPU on your device. In the next slide, I'm going to tell you guys how to do that. It's actually not that hard. If you have no idea what a CPU is, it's not that big of a deal. Essentially, it's just a component inside of your phone. So you're going to have to locate that. Alright, so step 2, cut open the case if you have one on. If you have a case, or if you don't have a case, sorry, you don't even need to worry about that step. You can just put the mini fan right on top of your phone. Maybe with like some, double-sided tape or something. We'll get on to that later. But I just want to say, if you are cutting open your case and you're like, if you're younger or you're not good with like, power tools or heated needles or anything like that, and you're trying to cut open your case, first off, I would recommend getting, one of your parents to do it for you, or I would just recommend not doing this step at all, especially if you're like under the age of like 18 or something like that. Just don't even do this at all. Or if you really got this and you don't think you need any help, I just take precautionary measures and maybe get some help anyways, because this can be dangerous cutting open a phone case. It's not easy. It took me a while to do it myself, and my phone case is rubber, so it shouldn't be that hard. But anyways, so yeah, that's going to be step 2. Moving on to step 3, super glue, micro fan, or tape it. So once you've cut open that case, oh wait, let me mention this real quick. Once you've cut your case, you're going to want to cut right over the CPU. I forgot to mention that in the steps, but I'm going to explain it to you guys. So when you're locating the CPU on your device, you're going to want to cut a hole right over the CPU if you have a case. If you don't have a case, you don't need to worry about cutting any holes. But I just wanted to mention that real quick. So you're going to super glue the micro fan on top of the hole, as you guys can see in that image. I have a front and back so you guys can get a better idea of what I'm talking about. And then moving on to the final step, just make sure, or sorry, not the final step, the second and final, make sure the glue will bond. This is pretty easy to just make sure your glue is actually going to stick to your case. If you have a phone, I would not recommend gluing your fan to your phone because then it's going to be there forever. If you have a case, then you could just take it off. I guess if you have an iPad or a tablet, something like that, you could super glue your fan to your tablet, because I don't know about you guys, but I don't really take my tablet anywhere. I know some people do, but if you're just going to leave your tablet at home, I suppose it's okay to glue a mini fan to it, but it's your decision. And then moving on to the final one, this is going to be I'm going to go over this with you guys in further detail in like a video. I'm going to show you guys a mini clip of me showing you how to do this. But you're going to connect the fan wires. You guys can see those red and black positive and negative wires. you're going to connect those wires to a power source. I know it sounds a bit simple, but it really isn't, and I'm going to show you guys how to do it. That's why this is the #1 method, because it is the best, yet it is also the most complicated. So let's move on here. The CPU location example. Remember how I said you have to find the CPU? That's the first step. This is how to find the CPU. This is an example. This is just a Samsung phone I got off the internet here. You guys can see that arrow I added in there. That's my image. I just added that so it can point to the CPU RAM. If you guys can find an image like that on the internet of your phone or of your tablet, then that would be great, because then you can see the CPU thing. It'll tell you. Hopefully it has a diagram. Mine didn't have a diagram, but I did find an image that says CPU literally on it, so that's perfect. That's what you want. And then once you know where that CPU is, obviously if you have a phone case, you can cut it open right over where that CPU is. And if you don't have a phone case, and I say phone, but really I mean device, because it can be an iPad as well, you just stick your fan right on top of that thing so you can cool it down. Alright, moving on here. This is going to be how to power your micro fan. I was talking about this earlier with the power source, how you have to hook it up to a power source. I'm going to show a video right after I explain these images real quick. I'm going to show you guys how to do that in a video. I won't explain it orally. I'm actually going to show you guys. But let me just go over these like quick little materials. So these are the things I'm using in the video. The links will be in the description. These are off of Amazon. So if you guys have Amazon, you can go ahead and purchase these yourself if you are interested in doing this method. But the picture on the left, that's going to be a micro fan, if it's not obvious enough. And then the picture on the right, that's going to be, it's like a kind of power source adapter kind of thing. You guys probably have no idea how in the world it works, but don't worry, because I have a video that kind of explains it a little bit. So let's get on to that video. Hope you guys can make use of the video.
Alright, so we're going to grab this thing here. And have to put this inside of there. Okay, there we go, so you guys can see. Now that's in there. So now the next step, I'm going to try to hold the phone while I do this with one hand. So I'm going to grab this red thing. I'm going to insert it. You guys can see I've already done this. It's like stuck in there. I mean, it's kind of hard to get out, so I'm not going to do it. But you're going to insert this red wire tip inside of this thing, this little adapter, majiggy thing. Then you're going to grab this black wire. You're going to touch it to the surrounding, I guess, coating metal kind of to the red wire. You're going to touch these two. Make sure the red is inserted. If the black is inserted, it won't work. But that's going to activate your fan. And then if we go take a look at where this is actually leading to. Oh, wait, before I get to that, let me just let you guys know. I would recommend taping these two together. Just tape them together. And when you want to turn off your mini fan, just disconnect these. Remember how we attach these? Just disconnect them. So just could probably do this with, okay, no, I can't do this with one hand, but you're going to have to just disconnect them. Pretty simple. You can already see. It's like that little gap right there. That's how you just take them apart. So I can just show you guys real quick. This is my studio if you're interested. But we're going to come around. As you can see, the other end is just a plug-in. So we're just plugging this in. I'm going to just unplug it. It's not going to do anything, but you can see that's just a plug-in to the little adapter I just showed you guys. So if we come back over everything, I know it's a lot of stuff. That plug-in is to this thing. So with this thing, we're just gonna remember this guy. This guy is plugged into the outlet you guys saw, or the extension outlet, I guess. This is gonna go inside of this thing. Let me drop that real quick. So this is gonna go in here. I already showed you what to do with the wires. That's gonna activate the fan. I would recommend taping these all together, but that's gonna be it. And then I can just show you guys like a better look, I guess, at the fan. Some glue I did. You can see I did cut open the case. This is my camera spot right here. And then my phone's going to go in there, which is actually the phone I'm holding right now, so I can't show you guys with a phone in it. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Anyways, if you guys are still lagging, first off, hopefully that video helped you guys out. I tried my best to explain it. But if you guys are still lagging, you tried all this stuff, or you tried what you wanted to try, or you tried what you could try, and you're just still lagging, this is the whole point of the video, is to prevent you guys from this step. But or prevent you guys from doing this, I guess. But you know what, it's what most videos suggest if you are lagging, and that's gonna be to upgrade your phone. If you have like an iPhone, I'm not, you know, like sponsored by Apple or anything. I'm just using an iPhone as an example, just getting that out there. But like the iPhone 4, if you have that, I'm not saying it's a bad phone, but it's not gonna be good for like hardcore gaming, especially on some of the new games such as like Rules of Survival, PUBG Mobile, you know, really intense graphic games like those. If you have an iPhone 4, you are going to struggle. So I would definitely recommend upgrading. I have iPhone X as an example. You don't have to buy the iPhone X. You can buy anything, but I mean, make it at least maybe like a 7, an 8, you know, and if you have a Samsung or if you have a tablet, this goes for any phone really, any device, you can just upgrade it and that's probably going to fix your issue. Another thing, if you're still lagging, I didn't mention this because this only applies to maybe 3 to 5% of the people. If you're lagging and you have a good device, you might have damaged your inner hardware, either from maybe, probably not water. If you damaged it from water, your device would probably just not work. Maybe you played too hard. Maybe you played for maybe 24 hours straight on your, maybe you played 24 hours straight on your device and you broke something internally that can't be fixed. Maybe that's why you're lagging. If that's the case, there's really no way for you to find out, but you could take it into a shop and try to get it checked out. But 95% of the time, if you're lagging, if you've tried all these steps and you don't think anything else is wrong, you probably just have an old device, and you guys probably know, you're smart enough to know if your device is outdated. If it is and you can upgrade it, then I would definitely recommend that. Alright guys, well that's gonna wrap it up for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed, hope you found it useful, hopefully you made sense of all this. I know it's a little bit confusing, especially method 1. I know that one's a bit complicated, but that was one of the best ones. Anyways, if you guys found this video useful, if you enjoyed it, if you could hit the like button and subscribe, that would mean a lot to me. And also, if you could share with a friend, if you guys know any friends who have issues with lag, hot devices, I would appreciate it if you guys could share the video with them, spread the word, because I know there are not many videos of this stuff on YouTube. But again, that's pretty much going to be it for me, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video and all that good stuff, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.